And I can tell you for sure that Fred Matiangi does not carry the change that Kenyans want to have. He also has very many skeletons in his closet. If you claim to come and bring a fresh breath to the leadership of the country that is reeling with the problem of enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings, then you must have clean hands to do with the same. And I think Matiangi, despite the euphoria we saw in Kisii, he has a lot of explaining to do. Kenyans are thinking about who is the best replacement to William Ruto, because we have made it very clear to every Kenyan that Ruto must go. He's saying that the people who want to send him home have no agenda, that the agenda is just William Ruto must go. The William Ruto must go is not an agenda. It's a campaign. It's a rallying call to answer the question of who must come. The agenda are there. Actually, we don't need to look very far. We just look at how he's managing things.
So many people are against this one person who is Ruto. They cannot decide on who is going to be the flag bearer and the deputy president. He has a leeway of getting out of this.
All the people want is someone else. And we'll get that someone else. Whoever it will be, it's still work in progress. Because we are determined to vote like we will never vote again. And it is going to be a protest vote. Two reasons for supporting this government is, one, either you are ignorant or you are eating. So if you are not ignorant and you are not eating, so you are worse.
Hello and welcome to LNN. My name is EJ Mukora. The man, the myth, the legend. Fred Matiangi. He's back. Arguably the most decorated and most powerful cabinet secretary in the Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure. But he's back for a bigger seat. The top seat in the land, the presidential seat in the 2027 race. Though he has some ghosts in his cupboard and some skeletons that people feel he should solve first out of his tenure as being the cabinet secretary of the Ministry of Interior, the cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Education, and the cabinet secretary in charge of ICT. Today we have a man who says he's always right on these analyses of the political happenings in the country. He's a political and government and policy expert, and he's going to tell us on Matiangi's chances of navigating these tight political waters and emerging winner in 2027. Hello, how are you doing?
Very fine.
You're doing well?
Yes, I'm doing well.
Yeah, I know you may not be new to this channel, but people may not know you, who have seen you for the first time. Looking at this camera, can you introduce yourself and tell people what you do?
My name is Joakim Simiyu Wabuche. Right now I'm more into governance advisory and policy analysis. And just looking at the state of affairs of the country. I try and look at things and tell people what is likely to happen, depending on how Kenyans behave around elections.
Okay.
Yes, and this time, I have told you a number of things that have come to pass. And I'm quite confident that even with the Fred Matiangi case, I will not be too far from the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you said most of your analysis and predictions come to true or come close to true. I remember you told us about the Baba Amarela Odinga's candidature for the AUC, and yeah, it came to pass.
For the people waiting that he will win, they should turn down. Ule mtu anangojea 100% winning, aweke 50%. Can you have a lot of shock absorbers so that whatever happens, you are good with it?
You know, people look at things very emotively.
Okay.
You are so, like for example, the supporters of Baba, every time he's vying for any seat, they don't actually sit back and look at the factors. What can make this person win and what are the most likely reasons for him to lose?
Okay.
But I tend to sit away from the noise, raise above the fray, and look at things in a quiet environment, and I identify things that most common eyes cannot. And I told you, as it stood at the time, Raila was not going to win the AUC chairmanship.
Okay.
And it happened.
It happened.
I was not surprised. Actually, even in 2022, I was his ardent supporter at the time. But I was not really surprised when he lost. Although I felt very bad. Not because he had lost, but because I knew the capability of the one who was coming in, the capability he had. He was a man who was very capable of taking this country very far.
Okay.
In a wrong direction.
In the wrong direction?
Yes.
Why do you say in the wrong direction?
At the 2022 elections, we had two lead contenders. And I looked at them. Where are these people coming from? What have they done in their political life? What is it that they have championed and benefited the Kenyan people?
Okay.
And I looked at Raila Odinga, you could see some things. He's not perfect, but he had done a little things. You cannot take away Thika superhighway from him. The second liberation is part and parcel of it. The expanding the democratic space, freedom of expression. Yeah. He has championed all that, the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, which the current president furiously, ferociously fought against. And I looked at the presidential candidate, William Ruto, at the time. I could not trace anything he had sacrificed for Kenyans. And I looked at him and I saw a man who is very determined to do things that benefit just him and not anyone else.
Okay.
So when Raila Odinga lost election, I felt bad because I knew Kenya had been handed over into the hands of locusts that was coming to devour all the vegetation of the Kenyan people. And as it stands today, it's happening.
Okay.
It's happening. I was watching this lady, I've forgotten her name, and she was quoting the numbers, the budget allocation to different offices in the country. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the budget allocation to the office of the government spokesperson. Yeah. Subsistence budget, money for travel, eating snacks here and there. Yeah. They were given 19.2 billion.
19.2 billion.
Yes.
Office of the spokesperson. That's the office of Isaac Kumawero.
Yes. That is for domestic travel.
Okay.
For foreign trips, they had been given 5 billion. That is in the last financial year. According to the current budget policy statement, they've proposed an increment to that to 36 billion. That is foreign travel and all that. And that is domestic, I mean.
Okay.
Then foreign, they have increased from 5 billion to 7.3 billion. When you look at such allocations to individual offices, and we compare with the money they are sending to counties, you see it's a deliberate effort to strangle counties to death.
Yeah.
I also looked at the office of the State Corporation for Advisory Committee to the President. Mm-hmm. Under this professor called Makau Mutua. Yeah. Salaries alone, 24 billion. Almost same the amount of money that's allocated to judiciary, a whole arm of government.
Government, yeah.
Yes. Then it is, in terms of allowances, they are given 33.2 billion. SRC says that allowances should not exceed 50% of the salary.
Yes.
So you can see the illegalities.
Yeah.
But the president of the day has no more authority to stop such things because he's a beneficiary of the same. And that tells you why even members of parliament pass such bills, because it's budgeted corruption. When an office of the spokesperson sends some, they want that bill to pass because they are benefiting from the billions, they will watatenga some billions to go to parliament.
Okay.
Then the office of the State Advisory Committee will also send some billions. So members of parliament do not pass these bills because they are fools. They pass them because they are benefiting.
Beneficiaries of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Never look at them and think they are fools by doing what they are doing. They are not fools. They are people who know that what we think is foolishness is very lucrative to them in terms of money.
Okay.
So it makes people, they know, the common wananchi feel like everything the government is doing is not meant to benefit the common person. And the issue that has brought a problem between the government and the people is that the people feel like they are not seeing the fruits of their labor. That you work so hard in this podcast, the money you earn is not enough to even take care of your day-to-day life. But you see someone who is in the same economy, the same country, wearing a shirt worth hundreds of thousands. So what comes to your mind? You feel like the fruit of your labor is being enjoyed by a few cabal of people.
True.
And people might think it's a governance issue. It's not a governance issue. Oh, to some extent it is, but it's more of economic. All the wars that have been fought in the world, it's been about money.
Money.
The Versailles Treaty was about money. Adolf Hitler trying to exterminate the Jews, it was about money. The Jews were in charge of tailoring. They were the ones who were supplying threads. They were the ones who were doing everything, whole chain. And at that time, tailoring was the biggest thing. And there were fewer people.
Okay.
So the Germans looked like these people. Let us do away with all of them. When King Leopold killed millions of Africans, it was about money, resources. He wanted to take control of the African resources. When Gen Zs went to the streets, it was about resources.
Yeah.
That you are struggling, then you see someone else is not. Then you wonder, what is it that they are doing that you are not doing? When you ask questions, the response is very vitriol. So it pushes these people to go to the streets. But the response was very brutal. The other day, the president was hit by a shoe.
Yeah, you also said that.
In a few days, all the suspects are in custody.
Yeah.
From such a large crowd, the government was able to pinpoint a few people and arrest them.
Yeah.
But Eric Shieni was hit by a bullet in the back.
Yeah.
We have the face of the suspect. Nothing is happening. Rex Masai was hit by a bullet. Almost 1 year down the line, no one is arrested.
True.
The late Honorable Ngondowere was hit by a bullet the other day.
Yeah.
They have arrested every suspect.
10 of them.
10 of them. They have identified, they have looked at the chain of events, which means we do not lack capacity to bring people to book.
Yeah.
It's just that the political goodwill to do that is not there.
They lack the political goodwill for the people.
It's not there. So Kenyans are thinking about who is the best replacement to William Ruto, because we have made it very clear to every Kenyan that Ruto must go.
Ruto must go.
Now the second phase of it is, why should he go? And we have told people every reason why Ruto must go. They now understand why he must go. We have made it very clear that we cannot deal with the mess in education with William Ruto as president. You cannot even streamline health with William Ruto as president. You cannot deal with the security issue with him as president. So for us to deal with any mess in this country, the first order of business is Ruto must go. Then we come to the third step to answer the question of who must come.
Who must come? Okay.
I have seen people make a lot of, some are very excited with the return of Matiangi.
Yeah.
And because I come from a literal ground, I listen to conversations of the most ordinary Kenyans. And I can tell you for sure that Fred Matiangi does not carry the change that Kenyans want to have. He also has very many skeletons in his closet.
True.
That if you claim to come and bring a fresh breath to the leadership of the country that is reeling with the problem of enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings, then you must have clean hands to do with the same. His name has been mentioned prominently in the River Yala murder cases. Miguna has wants a public apology for his deportation.
Yeah.
And I think Matiangi, despite the euphoria we saw in Kisii, he has a lot of explaining to do. And we are looking for someone who is coming to deal with the budget numbers in a way that it benefits the people. A person who is coming to bring an environment where business can flourish. Then that person must have a track record of doing that. Before Kibaki came to power, Western region was struggling to access fuel. And there is one gentleman who was given the job of making sure that a pipeline gets to Western. He did it, and up to today, there is no scandal. And that is Jimmy Wanjigi. We are living in a country where every project is an eating opportunity. But this is a gentleman who was given a very huge amount of money to do the job, and he did it, and there are no questions, which means we can entrust him with a bigger job. What we must do as people who want change, first of all, is to present someone who presents complete change, complete. That when we go past the elections, we don't come here and complain of the same vices. And to my own opinion, did you see Fred Matiangi when he was minister?
Yeah, I saw him.
There is a time, not in finance minister, interior.
Interior, yeah, from 2017.
Media people were asking him some questions, and he could tell you point blank, go and get another 10 headlines, but what I'm doing will not stop. There is that arrogance.
But, okay, let me cut you short. Is
Yes.
it arrogance? But he has been described as a performer. He has been described as a reformer. He has been described as a bulldozer. He has things hands-on. And maybe what others say, he's authoritarian. He does things with authority. He does not shy. He does not sit back. He takes things full hands-on. Would that be said as arrogance? I know there has been also the cases of, what do we call it? Ignorance to the court cases and court hearings, judiciary and all that, and not attending court summons. But would that border arrogance or being an authoritarian leader, a leader who knows what they want to do?
Despite the fact that you know what you want to do, when a court summons you, you have to appear. The other day you saw the Masengeli case.
Yeah.
Deputy Inspector General. You saw what happened when he failed to appear in court.
Yeah.
The same should have happened to him. Yes.
Okay.
So when you are in charge of something, like for example this area, you can have a cameraman who is so good at doing his job, but you cannot trust him with supervision.
Okay.
That when you give him a job of supervising other people, he will not perform the way he performs when he's behind the camera. Because supervision needs a whole different set of skills.
Yeah.
That you do it in a way that you do not disgruntle employees.
Okay.
And Matiangi cuts the image of someone who should be appointed to office.
Okay.
By someone who is, you saw, the one reason I like Uhuru Kenyatta, despite that he was not the best, is that he was empathetic. To some extent, he could sit back and say, no, what we are doing is not good. Can we please stop it? When he came up with a proposal of increasing VAT,
Yeah.
and there was a very big outcry, he stopped it.
Yeah.
Do you think Matiangi could have stopped?
Matiangi with his authoritarian style could not have stopped that. So you're trying to say he lacks that empathy.
Yes.
Okay.
It is his way or the highway.
His way or the highway,
Yes.
not in between.
No. It's bad for leadership.
Okay. But then there's still people who would still argue out, away from the top seat, that's the presidency, we still might need someone who is quite authoritarian because of the people below him. People maybe in the executive and also maybe in what we can call the legislature, maybe the members of parliament or even the Senate. Because sometimes if leaders or people below you might see you're quite empathetic, they might quite not, they may not give you that kind of respect you need. And you also need that making hard and tough decisions for a country. Do we need an authoritarian leader, or we need someone who borders empathy and also making
someone
right
who
decisions?
knows how to strike a balance.
Okay.
There are areas where we need ruthlessness, especially fighting corruption. You don't fight corruption with empathy.
Yeah, I know.
We've been punishing corruption by slapping the corrupt people on the wrist.
Yeah.
The area that needs total ruthlessness is the fight against corruption. Because it's our biggest undoing. You know, in other parts of in other countries, when you are given, I don't say that there is no corruption in these developed countries.
Yeah.
There is. The issue is how much are you eating? When you are a minister for roads and public works, and you're given 90 billion to make sure that you construct a road, let's say you want to make this Mau Summit Road,
yeah.
dual carriageway. You can still eat and make that possible, that we can see the road. But there is money that you swindled out of it. But in this country, someone will eat all the money and get away with it.
Yeah.
You saw the Kemarere and Aroro issue. 27 billion gone. Ukiuliza mtu, where is the money? Sema no, it was not 27, it was 7 billion. Sema okay. It was 7 billion. Where is the 7 billion? Now we don't want to ask about the 27. Where is this 7 billion? It's also not there. When you ask him, where are the dams that you were supposed to build? They were supposed to be there. Then what happened? Then you hear a lot of stories. That's an area where I would like someone who is very ruthless to be appointed.
Yeah.
And for us to appoint someone who is ruthless and deliver results, we also need a president who has the goodwill. You know, with Matiangi being president, he's coming from Kisii County.
Yeah.
Which means the votes from his backyard cannot make him president.
True.
And he's a man who is going, if he has to be president, then Mount Kenya has to vote him. Like to the last man. What makes you think that they will not control his presidency?
Okay. On that point, Matiangi has come back to the country like a week or 2 weeks ago. He has been received like a hero. The euphoria in Kisii and Nyamira towns, people are celebrating him. They had even to change the venue to the stadium and all that. Matiangi now has become this new poster boy, this new boy in the block now, who people feel like he's going to replace Ruto. He's the best suited candidate to replace Ruto. Do you mean like this whole euphoria that was there in Kisii and Nyamira And also by extension, we saw him go to Nyeri, Madira, to Rigathi Gachagwa's place. It's going to end. It's just a euphoria for just this time. It's just like that excitement, the bubble. Is it going to end and all that?
Before we get to 2027, but I am against 2027 because we are saying elections should happen on the second Tuesday of August in every fifth year.
Fifth year, okay.
So when we follow that section of the Constitution, the election should happen next year in August.
That's August 2026.
Was it 18th or 2026? Because the first Tuesday will be on date 11.
Okay.
So the second will be on 18th. Election should happen around there. But before we get there, a lot will have happened.
Yeah.
What I am most interested in is to see that William Ruto is not president. And we are going to make sure whoever is contesting against William carries the day. We've tried him and we have seen he cannot carry the aspirations of Kenyans. He cannot deliver.
Yeah.
He's a man whose word cannot be trusted. You remember the other day the Kedong land issue, where he said that he has spoken to Cheluget. They have sat down with the Cheluget and they have agreed that the land should be given to people. That he has bought 6,000 acres from Cheluget, a man who died in 2017. Now they are saying, he talked to the family member. No, the president was very clear.
He was categorical. He said Cheluget.
Tumeita huyu Cheluget. Tumeongea na yeye, sasa tumekubaliana, hii shamba tumenunua, tutapea nyinyi. Do you need to be a genius to understand that statement? You need to be just ordinary. If a president has gone to an extent of having conversations with the long dead people, can we really trust him with delivering the Kenyan promise?
No.
He's saying that the people who want to send him home have no agenda. That the agenda is just William Ruto must go. The William Ruto must go is not an agenda. It's a campaign. It's a rallying call to remind the people that for them to birth a new Kenya, then Ruto must go. The agenda are there. Actually, we don't need to look very far. We just look at how he's managing things. The agenda is to make where he has made things bad, make them better. We will look, for example, at the issue of housing. You deduct money from a Kenyan worker. You go invest the same money in treasury bills and bonds. You come again, look for a private developer who is coming with his own money. You give him public land. He builds units on the public land, gives only 30% to government to be given to the affordable housing scheme. Then he sells the 50% to take back profit. What have you done? One, you've sold public land to a private hands. And two, you have stolen money from a Kenyan. Because this person whom you are deducting money from, it's meant for housing. It's actually called housing levy. But it does not give him a house. At the time of giving houses, then you come and say, can you deposit? Deposit what? What are we depositing? You already deducted my salary. You forced me to shrink my budget in my house. Take, for example, think of a teacher who was employed 30 years ago. He only has almost 5 years before he retires. He took a loan just when he was employed and bought land and built a good house. You know, teachers, they are very prudent managers. Then just when they are done paying the loan, then William Ruto comes with housing. And then this house, you are forcing everyone that, hey, look, you need a house. It would be better if he came and told Kenyans that, hey, when those who feel like they need houses, this is where the program is. But why are you forcing everyone? There are people in this country who house is not a problem to them.
Sure.
Then you come and lie to these people. He started by lying to people who are not employed that, look, we are deducting money from these people who are employed so that we can build houses for those who are not employed.
Yeah.
Later on, it was said that for you to get a house, we look at the ID number of the person being deducted the money. So if you've not been deducted the money, you are not entitled to the house. Which means you lie to this mama mboga. If there is any president who has let down the ordinary Kenyans, it's President William Ruto. He had the capability. He had the opportunity to be the best president. Actually, if there is anyone who could have relegated Raila Odinga to oblivion in politics, it's William
Ruto.
The first 3 months after his election, that was the only time he had. But when he failed, Raila Odinga is a very good politician. He doesn't let the opportunity go.
Yeah.
So he looked at the things William Ruto is not doing well. He came with Garama ya Maisha. It brought him back into politics as he's now a co-president.
A co-president, yeah, that's true. The clamor for change in this country is there. People want William to go.
Yes.
They have said Ruto must go and all that.
Yes.
But they have seen there are several people who can, like, is it even like a place where if even William ran against a sack of potatoes would win. Like now everybody wants to become president. You have mentioned Jimmy Wanjigi. Some would still argue that Jimmy has also some skeleton in his cupboard. Some have called him a tenderpreneur and a crook and all that. Most people don't trust him. They also feel like he's part of the cartels that run this country. People have come in, have come out, but then there is Matiangi who has come in. He has his own skeletons from being, especially the Minister of Interior, where people say there are bodies in Rivayala. People say the Shakahola massacre or the religious massacre. Yes, it came out during William Ruto's tenure, but it happened during his tenure as a cabinet secretary. There was a lot of police brutality. There was when he was Minister of ICT, when he did close down the media stations during Raila Odinga's mock swearing in. There are so many things, but there are also so many things, to be fair to him, people say he has achieved. He brought so many reforms in the education sector. He brought reforms even in maybe with the school bus that were painted yellow and all that. There were so many reforms people would say, even fast internet when he was the Minister of ICT and all that. Don't you feel like people are quite right? Because this is someone who has also been tested for some time, and they feel like his track record is quite good. He may have his sins. He may have things that he never performed to the expectations of people. And maybe he took a fault for some things in Uhuru's government. But they feel like this is a man feel like he's the only person who can replace Ruto.
Who are the people behind him?
Is Matiangi a puppet of the West, or would there others say he's a puppet of Uhuru Kenyatta?
Both. You look at Uhuru Kenyatta. He doesn't want William Ruto.
Very true.
But he wants someone who can listen to him. Matiangi can do that.
Yeah.
You look at someone like Rigathi Gachagua. Can Rigathi Gachagua be an image of good governance?
To be fair enough, I don't think so he can.
He cannot. So the biggest issue here is the tag of being a project from people who have also had a hand in making Kenya be where it is today.
Yeah.
The Wamunyoro meeting, to my own opinion, does not carry the aspiration of Kenyans. We need a better set of hands. And that's why it's still work in progress. Before we get to 2027 or next year, we will have a clear statement on who should take over. And I must warn the person that is coming to take over is coming to take over a country of a very big problem, the debt issue, economic crisis, a disgruntled public. You can imagine that in this regime, it's the regime that has made even the military lose confidence from the people.
Yeah.
You know, people used to trust the military so much. Even when William Ruto sent them out, people celebrated that, they are bringing our friends. They didn't know that they had had a hand in the death of their friends.
Yeah.
So all the people want is someone else. And we'll get that someone else. Whoever it will be, it's still work in progress. But right now, we just want someone else.
That's the bottom line. You want someone else.
Yes. There is no formula that President Ruto will use to come back. Because we are determined to vote like we will never vote again. And it is going to be a protest vote. When the winning margin is 5 million,
Yeah.
how do you steal and rig? You can only rig if the margin is 200,000 votes.
Yeah.
But if the margin is such big, you cannot. And we are determined as Kenyans that hata tukiona kwa TV eti yako mbele he's leading even before we announce, he will have a very rough day. How are you leading? And we have voted against you. Where did you get these votes? You know, he's already preparing people psychologically that he's coming with abracadabra. Hiyo kujipanga yake yenye anasemaga, nimejipanga. I started seeing this long time ago. He knew that once he lost the Mount Kenya vote basket, he was done. So, he devised other ways of survival.
Yeah.
And I saw him abolishing vetting of IDs in the northern Kenya so that there can be an influx of Somalis and other people to come in and vote for him. I saw him around the time when there were echoes of war. The 6 extra names has been added in the IEBC shortlisted list. Yeah. There was it a bill in parliament or in court where it said that if you try to stop transfer of power in 2020 in the next elections, you will either pay 2 billion or go in jail for 10 years. So I was wondering, to what imagination has the president even started having an idea that there will be someone who will be trying to transfer power? For God's sake, he's the one who is in power. So what transfer is he talking about? And the people who are sponsoring that bill are the people who are sympathetic to his presidency. Another preparation that something will be happening that is not good. Even the person who he has appointed as chairman of the IEBC, he will be approved by parliament. At the time Nanok was governor in Turkana, who was his AG? It is this person. Yeah. So it's a cabal of people planning to preserve themselves, but they don't know what thunderbolt will hit them. You know, when we are talking like this, the best mistake I like when they do is to dismiss things and see that they are not serious. Yeah. They dismissed the Gen Z thing. They thought it's not going to be so impactful. Before they knew it, Parliament was almost brought down. And they are still having the same problem, even today. When we say that one term will be a reality, they think we are joking. There is someone who is going to be a one-term president. You know, I always say that he's a man of firsts.
Yeah.
The first assistant minister to sit in cabinet was William Ruto. He is At the time he was voted in as
Member of Parliament.
as a member of parliament, he won against a very wealthy man, Reuben Chesire. He was the first deputy president to become president. He is the first president to impeach his deputy. And then he's going to be the first president to serve one term.
And he also says he's the first president to run on the first time and win on the first time.
Yes. So him being first in things is not big news. And he's also going to be the first to serve only one term and go home.
Okay, during Uhuru's time, they used to say, no, there was the deep state. There was the system, which Matiangi was seen to be part of. But Ruto always brags, he bet the deep state, he bet the system. How would things be different this time around?
He already showed us that there is no system or deep state.
Okay.
So we cannot be worried about things that are non-existent. He already described that is the vote that counts. There is nothing like deep state or system. So we know that it is our vote that is going to count unless he has quickly manufactured his deep state. By the way, tunampea second term afanye nini? Why should we give him a second term? Apart from him forming a broad-based mongrel, what else?
Nothing else.
Nothing. Actually, it gives everyone a headache to actually say something William Ruto has done. People supporting this government should be given more money, should be added, their salary should be increased, because they are doing a very heavy job. President Ruto is giving his supporters a very hard time. There is a TV station that called me the other day and said, hey, can you get some two people who can support government and come talk about the finance bill? I couldn't find any. I made a lot of calls. Everyone, I go to someone who I know is in support of this government and say, hey, look, can you? I said, hey, Wana, I can't defend him on TV. What am I going to say?
Okay. There's something else. You had mentioned about this Wamunyoro coalition and all that. There are so many people who want to be president right now. They have said it's either Ruto to go, nothing, but they has to replace, Ruto must go. That's the bare minimum.
Yes.
But then there's this coalition. It has Gachagua, it has Kalonzo, has Martha Karua, Mukisa Kitui, and all these people. Let's say they're behind Matiangi. But there's something that always happens when you near to election. So many people are against this one person who is Ruto, but then they cannot agree who is going to be the flag bearer and the running mate. Nobody wants to be second to the person who is going to be there. What do you think? Is that going to be an issue? Are they going to agree?
There will be a game of egos. Kalonzo Musyoka feels like he's the senior most in that group. Gachagua feels like he is already been deputy president and he cannot become deputy president because he has already seen what a deputy president means. He can be dealt with, disposed anytime. Who else? Eugene Wamalwa cannot rally a whole country behind him. Dr. Mukisa Kitui does not have the bravado. Martha Karua feels like she's also very senior. She ran as a deputy candidate to Raila Odinga. She also needs to be president. Yeah. So unless they sort those ego games, I pity them.
And don't you think now that's where Ruto is going to navigate through? Because now, like, this part of this not so much integrated opposition, they cannot decide on who's going to be the flag bearer and the deputy president. For him now, he has a leeway of getting out of this.
If they all run, there will have to be a runoff. There will be no 50+1.
50+1, yeah.
The second round, can William Ruto win with the most popular candidate from the other side? He cannot. Actually, When you ask people to give you a very good reason why William Ruto should come back, they don't have it. My friends from Nyanza are saying that in order to punish Mount Kenya, how do you punish a region with 9 cabinet secretaries? A region with 11 PSs? A region that is, whose net worth is 27 trillion. When the president goes to Mount Kenya, you see what he does. He carries very good money. What does he carry when he goes to Nyanza? 200 shillings. So how are you punishing? How do you punish a region where when the president goes there, he goes with at least 3,000 per head? When he comes to a region, he comes with 200 for excitement. So people have completely no reason to vote for William.
Okay.
That's why whatever happens, one term is a reality.
Still on Mount Kenya, don't you think now with Uhuru's hand in Matiangi, and also there being a likelihood, even what Jeremiah Kioni has been saying, there being a likelihood maybe Matiangi might try on the presidency on a Jubilee ticket, and now with Uhuru's Kenyatta's hand in it, don't you think Mount Kenyans with their 6 million votes also, they would rally behind him?
Rally behind Matiangi.
Yeah.
If there will be no other serious person from Mount Kenya, they will. You see, we are trying to do away with this issue of tribal chieftains. We want to try something more progressive.
Yeah.
That's why I am of the idea that we should get other people.
Other people.
Mimi nina make decision. That decision yangu ndio ina carry the day. I will present a Maraga or Ngugi ticket.
Okay.
That will be the best. Alafu hizo zingine tutasettle. Lakini hii ingine ati now this community is coming with this one, that community is coming with this one. We will just come back to where we are. And we will be having such podcasts again, discussing things, the same that are happening. People who are coming in government with bitterness and an appetite to also eat. They will still eat and leave us to grapple with the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
This is called the third liberation, which is largely economic. So mtu anakuja hatutaki afanye mambo mingi. Asikuja aseme hii nimetengeneza. No. Economy. Just pick 2 things and do them.
Okay.
Did Kibaki ever talk about health? No.
No.
Kibaki always talked about agriculture and education. Education was always, he actually used to talk about work and education. That you should not drink a lot and go to school.
Yeah.
He also built roads. 3 things. But William Ruto wants to do everything in record time. Wants to deal with health, wants to deal with education, wants to deal with agriculture, he wants to deal with the security, he wants to deal with the tourism. You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. And also, even as you try to perform, who are you entrusting your job to? You look at Murkomen as an interior minister.
Yeah.
Murkomen should have been a minister for interior design.
Interior design. Okay.
Not internal security.
Yeah. But he says he has a what? He has a taste of the finer things in life. He likes the good things, the good belts, the good shoes, the good watch.
That's why he should be more in culture, fashion, That's why I said interior design, coming and looking at a room like this and say, hey, that watch should not be there, it should be there. That is the job he's best suited for.
Yeah.
But internal security, he's an below average CS. The other day, there was a member of parliament who was complaining that when he went there, he requested all security officers to come to where he is. So he left other areas vulnerable. Bandits killed 5 people.
Yeah.
So his presence alone cost 5 deaths. Is that a minister?
No.
For interior security? Or maybe he's a minister for interior insecurity, I don't know. So even as the president says he wants to deliver, the actions speak very loud opposite. The numbers I've given you speak very loud opposite from where the president preaches austerity.
Yeah.
He says that State House has reduced its budget to 5 billion. But look at state departments in State House. It's carrying the budget meant for all the 47 counties. So, however much he tries to say that he's going to deliver, mimi wanga hata sistukia akisema vitu zingine. Because I know what he says, the direct opposite of the same is what is going to happen.
Okay.
Our president akisema, sina shida na wewe, you should be very worried.
He means the opposite of that. It's more of a reverse psychology.
Akona shida kubwa sana na wewe. Because kama angekuwa na shida, mbona aseme hana shida na wewe? So, wakati alikuja akisema, I will make opposition very robust, very vibrant. Then he came and formed a broad-based mongrel. The same issues he vehemently fought when he was deputy president. You remember when he was at Chatham House, he was telling those people that in Kenya, people do not understand who is in government and who is not. That a leader of a party that should be a ruling party is a squatter in opposition. And the opposition is actually in government. So we don't know what is really happening. It's a mongrel of governance. He came and formed a broader mongrel. He's now who is the squatter in opposition. Because right now, the only glue holding this government together is Raila Odinga's ODM.
Yeah.
Immediately, ODM bolts out of this arrangement. William Ruto amalizi siku 2. Tutakuwa tushamalizana na yeye mapema. Anafaa shukuru Raila sana. Why it not for that mzee? Bwana.
Angekuwa nje.
Hii 1 term ingekuwa hata ingekuwa half term.
Half term.
Yes.
Okay, so you have mentioned about you think the best suited candidate is that one of Jimmy Wanjigi and Maraga. Let's speak about Maraga. Maraga also comes from Kisii, Nyamira, from where Matiangi comes from. Do you think Maraga also lacks that outlook that Matiangi has? What sets Maraga different from Matiangi? Maraga did announce his bid for his presidential bid before Matiangi, and it seems like it has not yet touched to the ground like Matiangi's bid. What's the difference between these two men?
Maraga is he will be speaking in campaigns like he's speaking in a church sermon. And that is the biggest undoing. But if that will be a ticket, and Kenyans decided now, despite this guy's lack of charisma and all that, we are going to vote him. If Kenyans decided that, it will be the best. Because to some extent, leaders know that we have no ability as the Kenyan people to choose better leaders.
Yeah.
An unperforming member of parliament sits somewhere very comfortably knowing that at the time of election, he will carry sacks of money, give people 100, and they will be intoxicated. This sobriety you are saying evaporates. Then they vote them back. We vote in a thief, then when that thief starts stealing, we act surprised. Why are you surprised when a thief steals? That is what he does. It's like seeing a pastor with a Bible. You should not be surprised. And that's why I tell people, watu wengine wananiambia William Ruto changed. He has not changed even a single bit. He's himself. He's actually wondering, why are people, we are pushing to be someone that he is not. Michelle Obama said that presidency does not hide your character, it exposes
your character. Very true.
And President Ruto has been a master of blame game. He could do something, but he was very good at leaving the blame on someone else.
Yeah.
But right now the buck stops with him. He cannot play blame game now. Everything, he's responsible of everything. At the time he was deputy president, he was taking credit of all the good things the government had done, but kila kitu mbaya anasema hapana. Uhuru Kenyatta. So right now, he takes responsibility of everything. And Kenyans are not asking for things that cannot be done. They're asking for everything that he promised it will happen. So I don't see the reason why he should act. Nowadays, leaders are calling us callous, heartless, and difficult to describe. I saw the Speaker of the National Assembly saying that, Kenyans have become heartless. Why are they surprised when we try to behave just exactly they do? We try to mirror their image and behave the same way. They start calling us heartless. We are only making them see how they behave.
Yeah.
When the late Ondo was shot dead, Kenyans said we sympathize and move on. That was not their statement. They took the statement of a member of parliament.
Yeah, Abdullahi Bashir.
Yes, who said it on the floor of the House. Why is it okay for a member of parliament to say it, but it's callous and heartless when an ordinary person on the street says the same thing?
Yeah, and I don't know even why they think what it said that a country's leadership is a representation, it's a reflection of its citizens.
Yeah. We also have a problem as a Kenyan people, and we need to change.
Yeah.
I've told you we vote for thieves and we get surprised when they steal. Anywhere, mimi nasema ukienda mahali upate mchawi ni kiongozi wa kikundi, ujue hicho kikundi ni cha wachawi. Because when you are not a witch, you will not allow a witch to be your leader. But how comes we have a very good appetite for thieves?
And you see, on that point, there's something we have been speaking about. We have said Matiangi might lack the charisma, the sweet words. Maraga might lack the charisma, the sweet words to deceive people in public. It's on top of sunroofs. But Ruto might have that. Let's give it to him. He moves masses. He has the sweet words. He will lie to you and you are going maybe to accept and all that. But it's like in this country, we like the bad leaders. We like the bad boys. How are we going to bridge that gap? It's like we are attracted. We like those ones who lie to us. How are we going to bridge that gap?
There is that age where, like ladies, we say they love bad boys.
Yeah, they say ladies like the bad boys.
But it also gets to a point when that lady who loves bad boys doesn't want a bad boy. He now wants a cool guy who will not look at her past and they want to settle down.
Yeah.
Kenyans are at that stage. William Ruto is like that con man who has been found out that this guy is a con man. Can you imagine you con people in Nairobi? You've been conning along Luthuli Avenue, ukajulikana. So you switched. You went to Aga Khan Walk. Then the people you try to con are the ones who are at Luthuli Avenue. So this guy is the same guy there. So you switch, you come to Westlands. You come to Westlands and you realize, pia huku nimejulikana. So at the end of the day, you cannot con anyone from anywhere.
Yeah.
William Ruto is at that stage. He could have that charisma and that ability to lie, but people have already identified him. That every time he speaks, you can't take his word. And that is his biggest undoing. People will not be looking at his charisma. They will be remembering what he did.
Yeah.
Because in 2022, you could tell people, William Ruto will perform. And people would say, let us give him. He will represent a change. He used to say that he was born in an ordinary home to a father who was a nobody, not even a chief, but these are dynasties.
A hustler.
A hustler. And people could see the actions of the dynasty that they thought he will be different. Now he's among the dynasties. What is he coming to tell people? What possible lie can he lie using? What I know is around elections, he will be a very good person.
Okay.
He will be saying things and doing them. Not for the sake of anything else, but for the sake of elections. Right now, as we speak, he has given 45 billion to police, teachers, and the military.
Okay.
Do you know why? Who are the people who are usually in charge of elections? Teachers. They are the presiding officers, they are the returning officers, they are the agents.
Yeah. The schools are the polling stations.
Yeah, the schools are the polling stations. Security is provided by police.
The police.
And military are usually on high alert in the barracks. Why give them 45 billion now? When we are talking about people being raiding payslips, we are mentioning 3 million people whose payslips have been raided and they can't vote for him. You will give him money. You give them at the time of elections.
Okay. Yeah.
So I call upon Kenyans to remain focused, because there are going to be a lot of confusing actions as we proceed. But the focus is he must go. Tukifanya mistake arudi second term. Hey.
You're hell-bent on he should not come back at all.
He should not. If he comes back, you leave this country on a deathbed. What will you even say? I can even say that we will not even be able to hold such podcasts that are critical to his government. It will be dangerous and risky to you. Because ukienda kusema kitu wanasema, ya watu wamekuwa wakiimba hapa at one time, so nimerudi. Sasa iko nini hii kelele? You will not be coming to Jivanji to ask questions. So for the sake of everyone, it is in everyone's interest for William Ruto to go home. As we speak, because I told people the other day, 2 reasons for supporting this government is, one, either you are ignorant or you are eating. So if you are not ignorant and you are not eating, so you are worse. When I see Senator for Siaya, Oburu Odinga, talk as if he wants to cry, defending this government, I understand him. Because his son was employed the other day as an advisor to the president.
Yeah.
So there is something he's getting out of government.
He's a part of those who are eating.
Yes. He's a senator, youth leader in Siaya.
Okay. When he's become youth leader, he's 85 or 88.
They call him youth leader, he's 84. You saw him going, accompanying the president to China. And when they were doing an exposition of how technology works, he was there as a youth leader to see how things are working.
But he has been, he has been called youth leader, and most of the time he's seen sleeping in the Senate.
Yes. So he's the youngest person in Siaya who is very vibrant. So he's benefiting from this government. When I see Mbadi saying, when you want to understand what Raila is saying, listen to Oburu. Listen to Junet. I understand the guy. He's a treasury cabinet minister in this government. So this mess that you are crying about, he's benefiting from the same. So why should you? But personally, wewe, atuseme broad-based kumi bila break. What are you getting out of the kumi bila break?
Simiyu, you're not fair to these people. But speaking still on that, as we are winding up, would like us to talk on the western part of Kenya and also the Nyanza part. As you had said, the ODM party has kind of lost grip. And now we have said Matiangi has come into the picture. Last week we saw there was a crash between Gor Mahia and Shabana FC. And like these two football teams, they are a representation of maybe the communities in that side. From where you sit, would you say like that fight that was there at Gusii Stadium, it was more of politically charged? It was not even about
football. It was
football.
a symbolism that Kisiis do not feel part of ODM.
Yeah.
So they feel like Gor Mahia is like ODM in their area. And the day Matiangi was there, it was a Kisii thing, breaking off from ODM.
Yeah.
So the fight is political. And I know right now, Raila Odinga is a man who is worried because popularity of him and his party is going down. In Western Kenya, you will struggle selling ODM party. Western Kenya has always been voting for it, but they no longer feel part of it right now. They feel like we are only needed when we are voting. But when something comes on the table, we are behind the curtain. So it's all about that. And when I talk about Western region, if I have to be honest, Western region's unity is a threat to have a lot of people. If we can get everyone voting in Western in one basket, supporting one person, nothing stops from that person from ascending to power.
Okay.
And also, the people from Western Kenya, out of our disunity of purpose, we have not benefited much from the national cake. Before Natembeya started asking questions about us, the Luyas being second largest community, have we even ever been given Inspector General of Police? No. Head of military? No. How many ranks kwa military ndo ukuja ufike kwa Mluya? Zilikuwa kidogo. So, and that is brought about not by anyone else, by ourselves. Disunity, selfishness, and all that. You know, there is a day someone told me that the ladder principle, once you push your friend to go up, akifika juu pia uko wapi?
Uko juu.
Ukimvuruta chini, you will find yourselves
down.
And that's our biggest problem. Some have been making it look political that Mount Kenya are benefiting more because they know how to package themselves to benefit. What have we done for ourselves? When Zoya Sugar was coming to its deathbed, we had leaders from that region sitting in cabinet. We had leaders from that region in parliament, in very powerful state organs. What did they do to stop it from happening? When Pan Paper was dying, where were they? When Mumias came to its knees, where were they? I want to tell watu wa Nairobi, one term siya president tu peke yake. One term hata ni ya governor pia wa Nairobi. Pia aenda jumbani kabisa pamoja na mtu yake. There are heaps of garbage in Nairobi. Nairobi now, when I was schooling, it was described as a green city under the sun.
Yeah.
Today, it's a stinking city under the sun. You go to all these marketplaces and you wonder, this is where food is kept that feeds the whole city. It becomes a problem. Now, we need new blood of leadership in Nairobi. And that's why I say people should give it to Babu Owino.
Okay.
Babu Owino has demonstrated in Mumias East that he is capable of handling funds and making people have dignity of being in the city.
Yeah, yeah.
So my last point, when you go to any country and you want to know how this country takes things seriously, immediately you arrive in that country, go to their central traveling point, you see there are no sheds. Workers are kuna vumbi. You see the attitude of that country towards workers. Then from there, you go to hospitals. You find there is no medicine. Things are bad. You see that these people do not like their women. 89% of hospital users are women. They are the ones who take children to hospital. They are the ones who do everything. Then from there, you go to the party headquarters of the ruling party. You find it's an abandoned building. The Secretary General does not hold meetings there. The President does not hold meetings there. The chairman, in this case, is a governor of Embu. You see the attitude of that government towards institutions. From that summary, you can see where we are.
Okay.
Yes.
The last point now, we were asking about the youths, the Gen Zs. Maybe they also make the bigger population in the population demograph. They make a bigger percentage. What do you think where they stand about Matiangi's presidency, and who do you think they would vouch after, or who they would support? Because some of them have been categorical. They have also said, as you have said, Matiangi is not the solution and they are not going to back him up.
The Gen Zs will vote for someone who will tick all the boxes: accountability, integrity, security, all that. That person that will tick all the boxes, the young people will vote for him. And that person will come.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, as we are closing, in a scale of 1 to 10, today you have been speaking about Matiangi. What do you think, if all factors are constant, what do you think are his chances of winning?
5.
5. So it's a 50-50 kind of situation.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Simiyu. So looking at this camera, you can tell people where they can find you and what is your parting shot.
I have 2 social media pages. Nitafungua YouTube baadaye. Niko tuna Facebook na TikTok. Facebook najita Joakim Wabuhe. TikTok ni Joakim 756. That's if someone wants to get in touch, they can find me there. My parting shot is that they say every generation must identify their purpose and either fulfill it or betray it. Our purpose as we speak right now is to bring about economic dignity. And every Kenya, everywhere you are, you must be working around the clock to make sure that we leave this country better than we found it. That is my thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. As you've heard from Mr. Joakim Simiyu, he says his analysis always are true or always come close to true. We would like to hear your opinion on this conversation. We have seen the candidate of Fred Matiangi throwing a spanner in the political space in this country. I would like to know if he is the best candidate to replace William Ruto, and what are your opinion on this? You can share your comments on the comment section, and also for other personal stories or any other information you can share at info@lnn.digital. That is all we had today. For everyone who made this production a success, we thank you. My name is EJ Mukara. See you tomorrow.